First, we look at the position of the model, and you can see it's not in a position for us to machine. So I'm going to do the top section first. So I'm going to rotate around the x-axis, and you can get some of these icons that I put on my screen from View Customize, and you can add buttons and move them around and put them where you want them, and then save your settings by exporting them. I'm going to use rotate around X 90 degrees and put a window around the part. My next thought is probably positioning our coordinate system in the center of the part. So our block we'd be putting our touching off in the center of our block. Makes sense. So I'm going to go to machining, stock setup, and my origin is going to be the top middle. My next step is to draw the stock that's going to be around this part. So I will go to geometry, rectangle from corner to corner. I'm going to use a grid, and I'm just going to throw up some stock there real quick. This corner to this corner. Create a new curve, and we'll call this stock CRV. Very important, that's the name. So if we wanted to use our stock curve as the 3D preview stock, that's what you name it. And then double click. Next, we're going to go to the machining wizard, and we'll just call this rough. Pocket. Path, we're going to use our stock curve that we made. That's what we're roughing out to. And we'll go over the stock boundary. We'll go over by the tool radius. I'll use a 1/2-inch cutter, turn off smooth high-speed machining. We'll leave 10 thousandths for finish. Maybe change and adjust our Z step, what have you. Verify. If you don't wish to include this area through here, then what I would do is I'd go to curve from silhouette boundary, pick all the surfaces, and then what I would do for the roughing operation, we have the stock as our path, then we'll use the center curve here, so let's make that our active curve. That would be curve 2-5, so we come up here, the second path would be 2-5. Leaves the middle out. I'm going to choose to leave the middle. We'll take that out, so I'm going to remove that. Now I'm going to add another work step. We'll call this finish. We use 3D equidistant, and we're going to use less the diameter of the tool so that the ball end mill or bullnose tool just hangs before it drops off the part. Take the finish off. Use a ball end mill. Yeah, maybe something a little less aggressive, 375. You'll adjust your feeds and speeds and maybe fill in your own values. For some of these fields, they're pretty straightforward. So I'm just getting down to the nitty gritty and showing you how to do the operations. So now I'll verify. Okay, you would change, that would be a semi-finish operation. You'd go in and you would take and change the step over to, I'm going to change it to 10 thousandths, but you might make it 1,000th, maybe even a tenth. Okay, that's a real good finish on that part there. Now, of course, the 1/2 inch end mill or the 3/8 end mill wouldn't get in these corners. So what we do is we go into another operation, and this would be called refinish. We're going to refinish the finish operation. Tool 3. Maybe go chase it up with a 125 diameter tool. And verify. So now as it's calculating, it's looking at the finish operation and the tool that was used, and now it's refinishing, calculating using the smaller tool. So it gets in those areas and through here. And of course we could cap the holes so that it didn't go in the holes, but that's fine there. So then we'll do a rapid cut. Now we could profile, take a finish cut around the edge with this curve here, so we make that our active curve. That guy right there. Go to contour, finish outside. Tool 4, maybe a 1/4 inch diameter. I could check the radiuses there, but it's just a sample video. Maybe an automatic lead in and lead out. And verify. So the tool's on the wrong side of the part. Go to the curve and reverse it. Now I need to add a depth. So we're going to go and snap to all, pick the bottom of the part. It's 1.5 inches deep, so we'll go 1.5. And that cut the perimeter of the part. So those were all the top operations. Well, we have 1.5 inches deep part. Let's go to our stock setup. Just under 1.5 inches. So I'm going to move my coordinate system to 1.5 inches. I need to calculate our rough step. I forgot to do that because I took out the second curve. Now we got the middle cut out. Do a rapid cut. There we go. You can drill holes here. We have hole recognition. And the line that goes and connects the holes, that represents that these holes are the same diameter, the same depth, and the same starting point. So if I make that my active curve, go to holes, up, holes, we'll drill, let's go to advance, it's 0.85, so we're going to go with tool 5.085. Depth will hit automatic, it knows it's going that deep, and if I put a drill tip angle on there, it'll calculate the additional depth for the drill tip. Okay, and you do the same thing for the other two holes. So now I'm going to flip my part over and do the bottom side. So these are all our top operations, so I might just right mouse click on them to deactivate them. Now we'll put a new coordinate system. We'll go to View, New UCS, and I'll just call this bottom. And I'm going to make sure X, Y, and Z are 0. Enter. Hit enter again. So now I put a coordinate system directly on top of the other one. So now I'm going to go to Edit, Translate, and I want to move straight down in Z negative 1.5. And pick our coordinate system only. Hit the bottom out of the list box here. So now you can see that's at the bottom of our part. So I'm just going to rotate it now. I'm going to rotate X 180 degrees, make sure it's off of 0. And pick our bottom coordinate system. Isometric view. I'm going to go to the wizard, and then we're going to go bottom rough. I labeled it bottom so I remember what operations were the top and what are the bottom. Roughing, pocketing. We'll go over less the diameter, that's fine. We're going to go with a flat end melt. And we'll go with a 0.25. I'm just naming these, numbering these tools anything, and we're going to leave a finish allowance. Okay. Now if I combine the other operations, turn those on, do a rapid cut. Okay, my stock was a little larger than my tool path, my tool length, so those pieces would be gone. This is just a quick video. And then you do the same thing, you go into bottom finish. And I don't think we have to worry about a refinish here. No, that whole part would be cut. So what you're going to do is you're going to right mouse click. Let's say I want to produce G code for my first operation. So we'll turn the bottoms off. Go to post. And in Windows you just go in. Let's say I put my post on my desktop. Then I would select my post. Let's say a Bridgeport post. I think Haas was mentioned. Haas. And then you would post your G code to this location here. Then you would turn these off by right mouse clicking on them and activate these two and post your code. So now you have two programs. You would want to rename the second program maybe to bottom or something so you can identify them. And now you have a part for the top and a part for the bottom.